In this video, I'll take you to the beach to talk a little bit about plein air painting and why I find it the most valuable experience for an artist. The day I got to the beach when the sun had already started setting, I wanted to do some evening studies and try to capture the beautiful evening contrast and colors. The lighting conditions were changing very fast, so I had to paint fast too. I divided the page of my watercolor pad into 4 equal parts using masking tape and started to paint as fast as I could. There wasn't much time to think about the composition, so I just looked around for a simple subject, a scene with some kind of contrast. I always look for light and dark or warm and cool color contrasts in my subjects. Our eyes love contrasts, so anything bright in terms of value and color will always work in a painting. I like this scene because of the unusual color of the water reflecting the sky. And there also were some sparkles on the water. Once I saw them, I knew that the painting would work, despite the dominance of gray colors in the scene. I like to capture strong light in my paintings, and to me, sparkles on water are the purest form of sunlight. They can make the most ordinary seascape look amazing. Here I am painting the view that you can see in the background. I like to begin my paintings by mixing and applying the most saturated color I see in my subject. I kind of key my paintings this way, comparing all the other colors with that first color. In that scene, it was the greenish-blue color of the ocean. As for the 2 tubes of white paint that you can see in the frame, in painting with gouache, I used 2 whites. Zinc white as my mixing white and titanium white for highlights and very light colors. You can't see my containers for water and paper towels in the frame, but you will see them in my next video, in which I will explain how I clean and dry my brushes. Drying your brushes well after washing them is crucial for getting the right consistency for your gouache paints. As you can see, I have 2 mixing trays. I always take them both with me, so that I can switch a dirty mixing tray with a clean one when the light is changing quickly and I have no time to take a break and clean my mixing tray. The purpose of these little studies is to capture the natural condition as true to life as possible, and to do so we have to paint fast, trying to paint the scene as a pattern of simple shapes of different sizes. In gouache, muted colors change their value when they dry, becoming darker. But this is something you can control by testing your color on the paper with a brushstroke before even painting the entire shape. Gouache dries much faster on paper than on a mixing tray, so you will be able to decide if the color is right or if you need to make it lighter. There are cases when you need to repaint the whole shape completely, because the color has dried darker. But that's not a big problem, because the covering power of gouache allows you to make any corrections in your painting easily. When you work in fast-changing lighting conditions, you need to pick only the most descriptive features of your subject and leave everything else that is unimportant aside. I loved how this 3rd study looked at the beginning, but I kept adjusting it and basically ruined the painting. This is why we should stop when we see that the painting is working, instead of trying to adjust to ever-changing lighting conditions. You can see that I start every new painting by blocking in the largest shapes of the composition with color first. Then I adjust those shapes, adding some variations of color temperature. I also check their boundaries. Once I'm happy with the large shapes, I start indicating details. I always try to add as few details as possible to my paintings. Excess details might look confusing. There is no need to paint every small feature you see in your subject. For example, including people in a landscape helps create a sense of space and scale in the painting. But if you want your painting to be about the landscape and not about people, you should paint the figures lightly without making them too detailed. Plein air painting is basically painting from memory. You have to memorize the initial conditions and cover the white surface with colors as fast as possible without changing those colors much later. Even when you see that, for example, the color of the sky has changed, you have to trust your initial choice and leave the sky as you have painted it. The longer you keep adjusting the colors in your painting, the more different from the real subject it becomes. I think that plein air painting is the greatest way to expand your color palette, because no digital camera can capture colors the way you see them with your own eyes. I wouldn't recommend correcting your plein air paintings at home using the photographs you have taken on location for reference, because it can make your studies worse. Even if there are some mistakes in your plein air paintings, they still have some truth and natural beauty. If you find an error in your painting, try to remember it so that you can avoid it next time you are out painting. These little studies are precious because they're not an interpretation of a photo camera like photographs. They are your own interpretations of the moments that inspired you. They are the memories you can always get back to. And just by looking at these little sketches, you can feel once again everything you felt when you were painting them. Plein air painting may be challenging, but if you keep going outside and doing your best to capture nature in paints, it will help you improve your artwork and grow faster as an artist.